Right, thanks for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. And up next on the program is newspaper review.
All right, I got our newspaper reviewer, Chikudi Abuja, with us this morning. Chikudi, good morning to you.
Morning. How are you, Nyere?
Very well.
How happy was the weekend?
Fantastic. In fact, I had a great time.
Good morning.
You're singing a different note today. I always hear a Jeremiah of, this job takes too much of our time. You don't have enough time to rest. I'm happy for you.
It depends on the side of bed she woke up from.
Actually.
This one that keeps kicking a leg or kicking a foot.
For breaking a leg.
Victor, good morning.
Good morning.
My red cap is not exactly like yours. Okay?
All right, so let's take a look at the headlines on the papers this morning. I have a quick question because I'm looking at the headlines and I don't see anything about children, and today happens to be Children's Day. I'm wondering, as a nation, are we forgetting that we have children that, we need to...
You and I should lead the protest. We are children after all. Children of our parents.
Victor, you're almost a grandfather, by the way. I was hoping not to say that, but you made me say it. So let's take a look at the lead stories on the front page of the Blueprint. It leads with federal government drags governors to Supreme Court over local government autonomy. The riders, 6th page of caretaker committees, joint allocation orders. Away from that, we have Niger, terrorist kill 7, abducts 150 in Munya, 25 gunmen neutralized. The rider, my people now sleep in forests. Council chair cries out. Not a good one. Details on page 8 of the Blueprint. Away from that, just below the masthead, we have Kaduna police arrest 3 for smuggling hard drug into cell. That's on page 10. And then we have Edo Queens win maiden NWFL Premiership title. Looking away from that now, we have this story. Uneasy calm in Kano as 2 emirs operate from different palaces. Dahiru Bochi urges respect for rule of law and peace. Just away from all of that now, looking below the picture story on the front page of the Blueprint this morning, we have 2 kidnapped Kogi State students killed. That's according to the police. Nigeria's economy defies rising inflation, expands 2.99% in first quarter. So that's the much I can take from the Blueprint. Let's quickly move to the national economy, which leads with 17 years after last census. Data gaps still hinder Nigeria's proper economic planning. Above the masthead, Nigeria's startups secure 29% of Africa's $15 billion investment over 5 years. Details on page 5. And we have a picture story here, and of course shows Nigerians on the street hustling for their daily bread. And in the red strip, we have deploying AI to achieve seamless data voice connection in Nigeria. So that's it from the national economy. Victor.
All right, and off to the Nigerian pilot. Well, it leads with the major headline which reads, LG funds. FG drags 36 governors to Supreme Court. And there are 4 riders here, 6 full autonomy for local governments as 3rd tier of government. Once order prohibiting governors from unlawful dissolution of democratically elected council chairmen. An order permitting funds for councils to be directly channeled to them, and sought an order stopping governors from constituting caretaker committees to run local government affairs. Well, that's that. And police arrest 4 kidnappers in military uniform in Akwa Ibom. You get details of that on page 5. Above, or just below the nameplate, Obaseki pays 70,000 naira new minimum wage to Edo workers. That's also on page 5. Good news for them. Gunmen attack 18-passenger bus in Ondo, kidnap 4. That story is also on page 5. And just one in sports. Raw to unleash 3 Nigerians on Super Eagles in World Cup qualifier. Well, let's leave it here. Chooks the boy, or the man.
So Raw wants to roar, you know, at Nigeria. Will vanquish. He was once here, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And now he has become an opposing coach.
Well,
we'll take him
the
down.
coach is Benin now.
Gangling Finidi George and his crew, his managers will take him down. Anyhow, let's quickly go to two very important issues. One must say, local government autonomy. FG drags 36 state governors to court. The federal government is for direct allocation to local governments as against what those we have jocularly called the czars or the emperors in the states operate, joint account with the local governments. That's not how it's supposed to be. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, that's Lateef Fagbemi, is instituting the case on behalf of the federal government. Of course, the state attorneys general and commissioners of justice are supposed to stand in for their respective states. Now, the federal government is saying that the states are abusing power by what they are doing, you know, the joint account system. We have been talking about it. And then, without prejudicing what the Supreme Court would eventually come up with, we have this impression that the local government chairman in Nigeria are boy, you know, wherever they are, and the state governor is the czar up there saying how things work. That is not, to my mind, how a federation should work. It's just like the state police thing we're talking about. Where you have federating states, they have their different levels of security. Nigeria can be different from that. That's my opinion. Let's see how what is happening at the moment pans out. You understand? But something like security, for instance, has become so unwieldy that a centralized point of, you know, administration of security is no longer tenable in this century. So let us see where this case would go. The Supreme Court, the apex court, is, of course, having direct jurisdiction to handle this case. That means that we expect it to be speedily dispatched and all that. I think it's going to involve a lot of
30th May is a date.
legal fireworks. I think so. But to me, the case is okay. We don't prejudice the case.
People are smiling in Edo State already.
You know, this basically of a man. We are not here to promote any functionary in public, but I will always talk about the NDLEA man. I'm sorry, but I like the man. Just like a Borno State governor.
But there's nothing wrong if someone does good.
I like those people.
If someone does
I'm
good,
beginning to like
Obaseki
as well. He's gone preemptive. 70,000 naira. Within Benin City, the Benin City, good old Benin City.
That's actually more than double.
You know, I had a good time there eating frozen chicken, planting the size of your head, you know. Things were just massive there. They are blessed. You know, the Ondo and Bini, they do access. It's like the rainforest. A lot of good things grow there. So I'm happy for Governor Obaseki for blazing a trail. You know, I like people who are proactive. But let me say that in terms of the direct allocation government is advocating, let's be fair to Erufai. I heard at a point that he actually was allowing local government funds go direct to them, you know. So it might not be all the states that but it's the 36 government is taken to court, you know. So let's see how all these things work out. But there is something brewing in Kano which we hope they will put a lid on as soon as possible. The tussle, the emirship tussle. The protests were reported in Gaya and Nasarawa communities, you know. Gaya residents are asking for the reinstatement of their own emir, one of those that emerged when the Ganduje government in 2020 created emirates beyond the sole emirate you and I had always known. The plea to Kano people is, whatever your protestation is, whatever your grudge is, make sure you carry it out in a civilized manner. Because that peace and harmony should always not be, it should never ever be jettisoned, even when we make the most bitter of protestations or protests. That's what my mind tells me about the matter.
True. That's what it should
We wish
be.
them luck.
All
But
right.
at the end of the day, the traditional institution in Africa should not be abused by political
politicians.
influence. I'm not saying that that is what has happened. I'm just letting out a word of warning. You were talking, madam?
Yes, of course, that's a story very interesting about what's happening in Kano at the moment. But this story about the 2 kidnapped Kogi Basti students that have been killed is also a sad story. And we hope that other students still in captivity, can we can help secure their release as soon as possible. Security operatives, get into action to make sure that they get back to their parents safely.
I didn't read that story.
It's a sad one because the report says that there's ongoing talks with the kidnappers, negotiations, parents and all of that, on how to pay ransom to secure their release. Unfortunately, 2 of them have been killed, and some of them are
It's
still...
not as if they made a run for it and they took them down.
Not at all.
Oh, no.
So
I hope it's not a warning about what will happen to the other ones.
So
if the parents or the security people do not play ball.
Exactly.
This is not good for us at all. It is not.
Honestly, and to think that the students were in their classes studying when this happened, just shows that we just need to, do the needful. I mean, it's not like they're out of school and, this meets them. This is being in school and then you get kidnapped and then get killed eventually. I just think that...
What a sad thing to happen, close to Children's Day. I always say that women and children are underreported in Nigeria by the Nigerian media. We have to do things to really... I didn't see blazing headlines.
About children, I mentioned
Day.
it. I mentioned it earlier.
That's not good.
Very painful,
You
honestly.
must write about the future. Any country that means to make progress among the Committee of Nations must always give attention to children matters. I don't
Indeed.
like...
I'm not sure this hasn't been the case. Hasn't always been the case.
Exactly, Victor.
I'm not sure why. Is it because of the LG thing? Papers want to sell.
No headline.
Even within the papers,
No headline is big
Yes.
enough to bury children on Children's Day.
Exactly, that is the point.
Today is Children's
Those who are
Day.
marketing the papers will tell you that they want to sell.
Victor, don't justify it.
I'm not justifying. I'm just saying the
Children
thinking
must
behind
be
it.
at the fore there.
Well,
By the way, I was expecting the both of you to get something for me as, the child of
You are
the
not a
program.
child. You are an oppressive journalist who bamboozles
Thank you very
this
much.
goody oldie who's giving you
We'll
gifts.
take a break. When we'll come back to get into the conversation. Of course, so we're focusing on 1 year of the Renewed Hope Agenda, and the Ministry of Interior gets our focus this morning. Please stay with us.